My big sister sent me a birthday present from home. Minutes later, the bomb squad was carrying it away. I still remember the exact moment the package arrived. It was my 27th birthday, and I was stationed in the middle of nowhere, a dusty forward operating base in a country whose name I'm still not allowed to say out loud. The sun was brutal, the air smelt like jet fuel and sand, and the only thing keeping me going was the thought that for one day, someone back home might remember I still existed. Then the mail clerk waved me over. "Sergeant Harper, special delivery from, Leela Harper?" My heart actually jumped. Leela, my big sister, the one person who used to braid my hair when we were kids, who promised she'd always have my back. We hadn't spoken much since I deployed, different lives, different continents, but she'd remembered my birthday. There was a small brown box with pink ribbon tied around it and a card in her perfect cursive. "Happy birthday, little warrior. Open when you're alone. Love you forever, L." I carried it back to my tent like it was made of glass. My battle buddies teased me. "Ooh, Harper's got a secret admirer." But I just smiled and waited until lights out. I sat on my cot under the dim red bulb, untied the ribbon, and lifted the lid. Inside was a tiny porcelain doll dressed in desert camouflage, exactly like my uniform. Its face looked just like mine, same freckles, same short brown hair. On its chest, someone had sewn a little name tape, Harper, and pinned to its tiny hand was a folded note in Leela's handwriting. "So you're never alone out there." I laughed and cried at the same time. I was holding it up to show my roommate when the tent flap ripped open. My commander, Lieutenant Colonel Reyes, a woman who never, ever raised her voice, stood there white as a ghost. "Harper, step away from that box, now." I froze. "Ma'am?" "Don't touch it again. That's not a gift." She turned and barked into her radio. "Get EOD to Tent 7, Priority 1, possible device." My blood turned to ice. EOD. Explosive Ordnance Disposal. The doll. My sister's doll. I couldn't breathe. They cleared the entire row of tents. I stood outside in my birthday t-shirt, barefoot in the sand, watching men in bomb suits carry that tiny box away like it was a live grenade. Hours later, Colonel Reyes called me into the command tent. Her face was stone. "Harper, the device was real. Pressure triggered, enough C4 to take out half this tent city. The note, the handwriting is your sister's. Fingerprints match the ones we have on file from her last visit to post." I laughed. Actually laughed because it was insane. "Ma'am, with respect, there's been a mistake. Leela's a kindergarten teacher. She makes cupcakes with smiley faces. She doesn't—" "She does now," Reyes cut in, sliding a folder across the table. Inside were photos, bank records, chat logs. Leela, my Leela, smiling in selfies with men I didn't recognize, men whose names were on terrorist watch lists. Transfers of money from overseas accounts into hers, a message thread where she bragged about finally making our family proud and ending the war one soldier at a time. The last message was dated the day she mailed the box. "Package is on its way. Tell Mom I love her." My legs gave out. I hit the floor and couldn't stop shaking. Everything we'd ever shared, sleepovers, secrets, the way she held me when Dad left, felt poisoned. She hadn't just betrayed me. She tried to murder me on my birthday and gift-wrapped it with a smile. For weeks, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that doll's painted smile and imagined what would have happened if I'd squeezed it just a little harder. My own sister had looked me in the eye my whole life and decided I was worth less than her twisted ideology. I stopped answering Mom's calls. I stopped writing home. I became someone I didn't recognize. Angry, hollow, dangerous. But anger is a hell of a fuel. I requested temporary duty at Fort Bragg, counterintelligence liaison. They approved it the same day. I told them I needed to tie up family matters. They understood more than I said. 6 months later, I flew home on emergency leave. Mom hugged me at the airport, crying about how thin I'd gotten. Lila wasn't there. She was living in a new apartment, paid for with blood money. I waited until her birthday, exactly 1 year after she tried to kill me. I mailed her a package. Same brown box, same pink ribbon. Inside, a porcelain doll dressed in her favorite color, purple. Its little chest had a name tape too, Lila. Pinned to its hand was a note, in my handwriting, saying, "So you're never alone either. Love, your little warrior." Except the doll wasn't porcelain anymore. It was a hollowed-out training device wired with a tracking beacon and a live microphone. Perfectly legal, perfectly terrifying. The second she picked it up, every agency that had been watching her for months got a ping. 2 hours later, her door got kicked in by men in windbreakers with very large guns. I wasn't there to see it, but I watched the body cam footage later. The look on her face when she realized the doll wasn't going to explode, it was going to send her to prison for the rest of her life, was better than any explosion. She screamed my name over and over while they cuffed her. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel revenge. I just felt tired and finally free. They sentenced her to 47 years, no parole. Mom still sends me letters begging me to forgive, saying Lila was brainwashed. Maybe she was, but brainwashed people can still pull triggers or pressure plates on their little sisters. I kept the original ribbon from the first box. It's pink and faded now. Sometimes I take it out and run it through my fingers and remind myself, love can twist into something monstrous if you let it go unchecked. So if you're watching this and someone in your life has shown you who they really are, believe them the first time. Protect your heart. Protect your peace. And if you have to, protect yourself, even from family. Because the people closest to us can cut the deepest. But we're allowed to stop the bleeding. I'm Sergeant Harper. I'm still here. And I'm never opening another surprise package without EOD again. Take care of yourselves out there. You deserve to see your next birthday.